My manager accepted a national award for a rebuild I did alone. He thanked the caterers. He never said my name. 14 months later, his resume landed on my desk. I spent 6 years at a food plant, starting as a maintenance tech on nights and working up to controls lead. I was good at it because I cared whether the line ran. I came in at 4 in the morning when a sensor drifted. I answered my phone on Sundays because product doesn't stop spoiling for the weekend. My manager, Grant, noticed exactly how much I'd absorb and built his career on it. Grant had 18 years in and understood something I didn't. Being visible matters more than being useful. He was at every leadership meeting, every golf scramble, every corporate visit. While his people fixed things, he described the fixes upward as decisions he'd made. He'd built a whole reputation out of other men's overtime. The project that changed everything was line 4, our oldest line, down almost a quarter of every shift, bleeding money in scrap and missed orders. Corporate wanted it rebuilt or scrapped. Grant volunteered our department, then walked into my office and handed me the whole thing. He said I was ready. He said this would be huge for me. He said he'd be beside me every step. What he meant was he wanted the results without touching the work. 9 months. I rewrote the control logic from the ground up, replaced the recipe handling, rebuilt the operator screens so a new hire could run the line without a manual, and wrote custom sequences for every strange failure that machine had learned in 30 years. 70-hour weeks. I slept in my truck twice during commissioning. Grant came to the floor for photos and for numbers he could put in a slide. The results were unreal. Downtime went from 22% to under 3. First-year savings came in at $3.1 million. Corporate liked it enough to make it the template for 4 other plants. Then came the annual conference and the President's Excellence Award, the biggest thing our company gives out. Our project was nominated. Grant submitted the documentation. Grant went to the review meeting alone. Grant described the architecture like he designed it himself. When they called it, he walked up there with a grin that turned my stomach. I sat at that round table with my hands flat on the tablecloth, waiting. I'd done every line of it, every calculation, every night on the floor, every operator I trained until they trusted the machine again. He thanked the executive team for their vision. He thanked the plant director for his trust. He thanked his wife for putting up with his hours. He thanked his assistant for his calendar. He thanked the banquet staff for a wonderful dinner. He never said my name, not once. Afterward, people crowded around him with handshakes while I stood by the bar. A few guys from maintenance gave me the look, the one that says we know. Most didn't know and didn't care because he was the one holding the trophy. He passed behind me on his way out and winked, like we were partners in something, like I should be honored to make him look good. I started planning that night, nothing dramatic. I didn't post about it, didn't confront him, didn't even complain to HR. I updated my resume with what I'd actually built, called 2 recruiters who'd been circling me for years, and had coffee with a competitor's engineering director. 10 weeks later, I had an offer. Better title, 28% more, a team of my own. I gave 2 weeks notice. Grant seemed almost amused. He shook my hand and said he understood. People have to grow. He had no idea what was leaving with him. Here's what he never grasped. I wrote that system from scratch. The documentation covered the basics, because the basics were all anyone ever asked for. Everything else, why a sequence was built a certain way, which alarms to ignore, how the line behaved in humidity, was in my head. Nobody on that floor could read what I'd written. 19 days after I left, line 4 threw a fault nobody understood. They ran it manual for a shift, then 2. Grant tried 3 texts, then he called me, then he emailed, then the plant director called and offered me a consulting rate. I said I was sorry. I was too busy in my new role. I meant every word. Scrap climbed. They missed a major retail order. Corporate paused the rollout at the other 4 plants pending a review of who actually built it. 14 months later, I was hiring a senior controls engineer at my new company. My director handed me a stack of resumes to screen. Grant's was in it, and there, in his second bullet point, was line 4. I wrote 1 word on the top corner and passed it back. Pass.